something. I'll take a bit of umbrage here. I'll speak on behalf of my colleagues. I think I can say we are all willing to work with anyone who's serious about doing the work of censoring the American people and advancing progress. But they are not serious.
No, you don't have to check your volume. You heard that correctly, what she said. She spoke on behalf of the entire Democrat Party and said that they are willing to work with anybody who is willing to censor the American people on behalf of progressivism. That's right. But that's not all. In this video, I'm going to show you several clips, several pieces of video that the American people have got to see. That while these Democrat shills and these lefty lunatics are out here, you know, dancing around and fake protesting everywhere, in reality, what they're really upset about is that the jig is up and that the veil is being pulled back, and that the American people are starting to see that for the last 20, 30, 40 years, these people have been leading this country to a cliff. And with this past election, they almost pulled off the greatest heist ever known to man, and that is stealing America from the American people and turning it into the new Mexico or the new Guatemala or the new China, whatever it is that their attempts, what they were trying to do. Nobody can even wrap their hands around why these folks are fighting so hard against stopping the wasteful spending of the American taxpayer dollar or exposing the crooked characters behind the scene. But check out this next clip, what Maxine Waters said. They call these Freudian slips, and yes, they are Freudian slips. Check out what Maxine Waters had to say.
People of this country are being violated because all of our privacy is being taken up by Elon Musk and Trump, and we don't know what all they have on us. We don't know what all they have on us.
You see what's happening? They're slipping up all over the place. They're letting it be known exactly why they're pushing back. Maxine Waters, who's been in Congress forever, just said, we don't know what they have on us. But check out Elizabeth Warren as she rages like she's fighting against the machine, when in reality, she is a piece of the machine. As a matter of fact, let me show you this before I show you the next clip. If you're enjoying this video, do me a solid. Hit that like button. I'll never ask you for a cash app. I will never ask you for a super chat. But you hitting that like button, that is currency, because it helps spread the video around. And on this channel, I share political and current events and then selling tips and techniques. And so if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And when you do, click the notification bell and select all. That way, you'll be notified when I upload new videos. See, what many of the American people don't know is while Elizabeth Warren is out here gallivanting around, acting like she's really fighting for the people, she's literally introducing bills right now, fighting against anti-schmortion clinics. And I have to say schmortion because if you say the word where people are taking the lives of unborn little ones in the belly, they'll strike the channel or they'll do certain things to it. So when I say schmortion, you'll know what I'm talking about. But Elizabeth Warren literally has a bill that she's putting on the House floor Thursday to fight against the anti-schmortion clinics. Now, here's what she wants to do. She feels like they don't have enough regulations. And guess who would regulate the anti-schmortion clinics? Elizabeth Warren. So check this out. Anti-abortion centers face little Anti-schmortion clinics face little regulation. The SAD Act, SAD, and that's what these Democrats do. They'll name a bill, and what they're doing is actually the opposite. Now, they say SAD, and what's sad is that there are people that are actually stopping the unaliving of the unborn. But these lefty lunatics, these Democrats, why they are so is hell-bent on getting women to take the lives of the unborn, all while the same saying that the population needs to be reproduced. So that's why illegal immigration was so important to them, when at the same time you're actually having schmortion clinic, mobile schmortions on the lawn of the Democrat convention. If you didn't know that they were doing that, they were giving out free, you know what, at the DNC convention this past year for the whole 4 days, those and vasectomies, free. And now they're fighting against clinics that are against that, which are largely ran by church organizations. So now you've got the government, Big Brother, getting involved when a clinic is helping a young lady realize the precious gift that she has within her, and she decides to keep it. They want to fight against that. They want to regulate that. Why? So let's take it back to Ms. Warren, where she acts like she's raging against the machine, but as you just saw, she is the machine. So check this out.
This fight is about hardworking people versus the billionaires. Are you ready to say no to Elon Musk? We will fight it out across this country, and I promise you, we will win.
Did you see that look, that crazed look in her eye? Now, when journalists follow these people around and are, trying to get answers from them, they have nothing to say. So Elizabeth Warren and the rest of the Democrats like to rage out talking about Elon Musk having access to private information and he wasn't elected and how dare he? Well, let me show you who has had access to your private information. Here are the staff members of USAID. Tell me how familiar you are with any of them. Right here, we've got, just so you know, USAID. You've got Mark Green. You've got Wade Warren. Wonder if he's related to Elizabeth Warren. He's the acting deputy administrator. Mark Green is the administrator. We've got Thomas Stahl, agency counselor. We got William Steger, chief of staff. We got Nilesh Shalat. We've got Cheryl Anderson, Harry Bader, Michelle Beckering, Angelique Crumley, Beth Dunford, Margot Ellis, Susan Fine, Gregory Uger. You get my drift. Are you familiar with who any of these people are? No. And these people have had access to the American public's information. The difference being they're not the richest people in the world. Most of these people are career bureaucrats. They've never built anything. They've never started a company. They've never balanced a budget. And USAID has had zero congressional oversight, none, meaning that they've had more power than presidents, than senators. Why? Because if you cross them or you're somebody they don't like, from the shadows, they can send the attack dogs at you. They'll have the BBC, Politico, CNN, MSNBC doing hit pieces on you, allegedly. They can send resources to foreign countries to subvert a mission that America may have in that country that the lefty lunatics don't agree with. Like all of the transgender programs that we find out are being facilitated around the world, even in countries where they don't want it. So they're working against the governments in those countries and definitely against the American government because it wasn't authorized by Congress and it isn't anything to benefit the American taxpayer. We want to help people, but why? Why are we doing that? You know why? Because allegedly there may be kickbacks going on. In this next clip that I'm going to show you, this is the congressional house where you will actually hear what these Democrats say behind the scene, off camera, just how silly they sound. And when they're trying to make these gotcha moments, because the average citizen isn't watching these congressional hearings. I do. I find them quite entertaining, but also so hypocritical. Check these out.
This is not a Democrat problem. This is not a Republican problem. This is an American problem. Over the next decade, total interest payments are projected to be $13.8 trillion. These interest payments don't serve a single American. They don't build a bridge, a road, provide disaster relief, or fund a single part of the behemoth that is the federal government.
Now, I find it ironic, of course, that our chairwoman, Congresswoman Green, is in charge of running this committee. Now, in the last Congress, Chairwoman Green literally showed a pic in our oversight congressional hearing. So I thought I'd bring one as well. Now, this, of course, we know is President Elon Musk. He's also the world's richest man. He was the biggest political donor in the last election. He has billions of dollars in conflicts of interest. And we know that he is leading a power grab, also abided by and encouraged by Donald Trump and, of course, the
as if he really cares about grandma's $900 Social Security payment. Or majority of people have bad credit. What is the richest man in the world going to do with that? And they love to bring up these contracts, but ask them, has he saved the American taxpayer money or not? Was he the best for building those the tools and the technology that we needed or not? When you want the most efficient and intelligent person at developing and designing systems to be the one to go through systems to make sure that they're up to speed and everything is done above board, of course. And so they love to say, oh, we need to stick with the norm and the bureaucrats. We see how they've done it. We see what they've done. Department of Education. In the top 40 countries in the world, the United States ranks last in education, but first on cost per child. And that's because those who know what they're doing.
The chairwoman, Congresswoman Green.
It's incredibly hypocritical that my colleagues across the aisle are complaining about this because Joe Biden signed his name and wanted the American people to believe that he had the ability to forgive $250 billion with a signature. Guess what? Supreme Court ruled he did not.
It's about helping Elon Musk and Donald Trump be as efficient as possible in robbing our government and handing out our government services to the rich. So this seems that this subcommittee is just
the gentleman's
like
time
the
has
agency it's named
expired.
after,
The gentleman's
sham.
time has expired.
a total sham.
They don't have anything, they don't have the votes. And their strategy, and they've said this out loud, is to delay and obstruct. They're going to do all these protests and grandstand and all these hearings, but at the end of the day, they're able to do nothing. The White House, Senate, and Congress. And then you got these activist district court judges stopping the president who runs the executive branch from regulating the executive branch. It's just lunacy at the highest level.
The American people are $36 trillion in debt. It certainly seems reasonable that someone has been fired.
They have relinquished their constitutional duties over to an unelected bureaucrat, someone who no one went out to vote for. And absolutely, he is occupying the Oval Office, as we saw yesterday. And that is a first for me to see someone occupying the Oval Office who's never actually been elected to the Oval Office and actually answering more questions than the person that allegedly got elected.
And every U.S. taxpayer owes over $323,000. Okay, what does that mean? That means when the EPIC, which is the Economic Policy Innovation Center, says we have 18 trillion left. That's it, 18 trillion left to take out, and we're spending $2 trillion in debt every year. Folks, we're at the precipice of a debt, like a debt cycle. We are literally at a point in which the dollar will be worth nothing. What does that mean? And we know Social Security goes bankrupt in 8 years, right? Medicare goes bankrupt in 10 years. And then 15 years from now, the dollar is completely devalued and worth nothing. So what does that mean? That means your pension, the money in your bank, your savings is nothing. It's worthless. So what are we doing? We're trying to save this country. We're trying to save your pensions. We're trying to save your bank accounts. We're trying to save this country for the next generation. And it would be nice if we had help.
But there is one fundamental difference between the presidents and vice presidents that were shown on that video and what's happening today. And that is that they followed the law. So my colleagues across the aisle who are asking us to get out of the way and stop trying to block things in the courts, let me tell you, we do not work for an unelected billionaire like apparently this guy does.
You just saw the George Soros list.
We work for the American people. And so if an unelected, unvetted individual private citizen is hacking our government systems, breaking the law, firing federal employees, dismantling statutorily created agencies, withholding funds, we are going to fight you in the courts.
And President Trump welcomes that. Well, folks, as you can see, it's the land of bizarro world, but their Freudian slips, they're happening daily. And just keep your ears open because these folks are revealing themselves. And not too long, and very, very soon, I believe, the wall is just completely going to crumble. It's not even cool to be identified as a Democrat right now. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Remember, he hasn't even been in office a full month yet. And this is what we're already seeing. Imagine 6 months. Imagine a year. So stay buckled in. Hey, listen, thank you for hanging out with me. Remember to like the video, share this video. And if you aren't subscribed, subscribe. Other than that, I'm Brian Maxwell saying thanks again. I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out.